Welcome back to Empire Sports of Mind. We have a special episode today. We're introducing Gil Cosenza, host of Flashback Sports with Gil and Dave on Chapters Wrap. He's a lifelong Jets fan, lifelong Yankees fan, and today we're going to discuss with him his thoughts on the overall Jets season.
Yeah, we'll bring him in right now. Waste no time.
Hey, hello, fellas. Great to be on the show. Looking forward to talk about the same failures we have every year. It's like you know what they call this? Groundhog Day. Every year it's the same story. So what do we got to talk about? How the coaching sucks, the quarterback sucks. What are we going to talk about? Yeah, Woody Johnson. What do you want to talk about?
We'll start with the Jets.
Yeah, the Jets they are the worst organization in football. They are. It starts from Woody Johnson down. Saleh is a lightweight. Saleh is going to coach in my high school in 2 years, Xavier High School. That's what he's going to coach. He's a lightweight. If it was me, if I was the owner, I would clear house and I would fire everybody, coach, every assistant coach, offensive coordinator. I would get rid of everyone, get rid of the stink and start anew. That's how I feel. And the quarterback, whoever they get, doesn't matter.
Wait. Can you give reasoning why to fire Saleh? I mean, this guy, the defense went from last to top 5 in the league in rankings. Why do you want to call quits on him after 2 seasons?
Because when you're 7-4 and it's chaos and you lose the last 6 games, he should go. He's part of the reason why the thing. He blames everyone else. He acts like a tough guy. He's no tough guy.
How does he act like a tough guy?
He acts like a tough guy and stuff. He's a weakling. He's not a leader. He's at best he should be coaching the secondary or defensive coordinator. That's it. He's a Todd Bowles-like. If you want, first of all, the Jets after 50 years, you need to get an offensive coach. They don't have an offensive coach. Every year it's the same thing. Draft choice, some attitude. Listen, Saleh, you want to keep him one more year as a lame duck, keep him. And the next year you're going to fire him anyway.
Really? Yeah. You have no.
I think some of the issues with firing Saleh is that, each time you hire a new GM or you hire a new coach, you restart the process. You have to get a new quarterback because head coaches like new quarterbacks. So you're restarting that process again and again. And I think what are your thoughts on the Jets 2 years ago when they hired Robert Saleh? I think it's evident that they're better than they were 2 years ago. So what are your thoughts?
How could they be worse? They had about 8,000 first-round draft picks
in
the last 2 years, and some of them they hit luck on it. How could they be worse than they were? Look, Saleh, you want to keep him another year? Give him another year, playoff mandate. Doesn't matter.
Can I just say something?
Next year.
Can I just say something?
Next year.
In August.
Right now, I would go for Sean Payne, even if they give up a #1 pick, or I would go after Jim Harbaugh. I want a guy who's a quality.
Wait, hold up. I just want to ask you a question real quick. In August, how many wins were you expecting the Jets to have this year?
4.
And they got 7. So why are you acting as if they were Super Bowl favorites? Now you're upset.
You know why? They got lucky because Cleveland blew a game they had no reason blowing, and they just wound up playing a lot of dirty.
Oh, okay. Wait. So let me get this straight.
Saleh blew that game. Come on.
Wait, so Saleh only loses games. He doesn't win games for the Jets. He only loses games. Is that what you're saying?
He's a loser.
Why is he a loser? He was a great defensive coordinator.
Any coach that has this thing, because he didn't back up Wilson, and he was okay. They had white T-shirts and stuff. You never would see that.
That's so overblown.
He's not a real coach. He's a joke. He tries to be a tough guy. I've seen this act before. He's nothing. He's not. Let me tell you.
You've been a fan for so many years. Who does he remind you of? A former Jets coach?
Yeah, he does. He reminds me of Rich Kotite. That's who he reminds me of.
Gosh.
Rich Kotite or what's his name? He reminds me of Herm Edwards because he also didn't know how to use the clock. Herm Edwards.
So, all right, we get it. That the Lions game was poor clock management. We all know that. But I don't understand how you can sit here and say this guy should be fired. What is it going to do? Jim Harbaugh, you're going to bring him in. The guy hasn't won one bowl game. What is he going to do for this team? Who else? Jim Harbaugh is off the table.
I like Jim Harbaugh. He's credibility. He knows football. I want a football guy in here. I don't want a guy that's like, he talks good. All gas, no. How about all gas and maybe no wins? How about all gas, no playoffs? How about I'll take receipts? Where's the receipts now? Shove it up his behind his receipts. Come on, please. Big talker, and you know what? He's in charge of that. I don't want to blame the offensive coordinator. Is a lightweight. That's his friend. I want an experience. I want a new coaching staff in there. I want everyone fired. That's my. Wow, man. What you say? Because you're going to be here next year, and you're going to say the same thing to me, and they're going to say you should have fire him now. The Giants made a good thing. They didn't like Judge. They got rid of him after 2 years.
Well,
the other guy. I know in my heart that this guy's not a. I don't think he's a big. Why do you think he's going to be successful next year? Why don't I ask
because
you
the team. The team went
Why?
from they had 3 wins last year.
Yeah.
They go into this year, they're 7-4, 6-3 at the bye. They have guys like Garrett Wilson, Brees Hall, all these guys developing. If you fire the coach and go with the whole new system, these guys' development the growth's going to get stunted. It doesn't make any sense.
And what about if they bring in a coach that knows what they're doing? Maybe their growth will
But
be even better.
how can you say this guy? The team was 7-4 at one point. It wasn't like it was a total dysfunction the whole year. I get that they didn't win any December games, but they had no quarterback. You have to consider this: no quarterback. Mike White got hurt, and if Mike White didn't get hurt, they would be in the playoffs. If they had average quarterback play, they would be in the playoffs.
But they're in fault for the way they developed Wilson, the quarterback. The
No,
quarterback
yeah, I mean
went backwards. That's their fault. That's the offensive coordinator had no plays to his strength. The guy rolls out, he's a runner, and they have him sitting in the pocket. He's like a 5'10" guy. Stupid. This guy Wilson, I don't know if he's going to be good or not. But what kind of coaching doesn't use the guy? Why don't they make him run a little bit? Why did they roll out?
I don't disagree. Yeah. But my question to you is who is a potential replacement at general manager? I know you said Jim Harbaugh may be a good coach, but who's a general manager they could get?
Well, no, I would keep.
Do you think you would keep him?
Okay. One more year, but I get a new coach in there.
But why? But no. But Joe Douglas, he's going to fire Saleh. If he's going to, that doesn't make any sense at all. Because that goes against what he preaches.
Fire Joe Douglas too. He drafted Wilson.
So now you want to fire him?
And he drafted Becton too. So those are 2 mistakes.
This guy's opinions that last 10 seconds.
Becton, he and Wilson, both guys.
How about Garrett Wilson? How about Brees Hall? How about Elijah Moore, who actually didn't have a great year, but I think he still has talent? How about all the other draft picks? How about the trades that he made with Jamal Adams, the signing of DJ Reed? How about all those other moves? He brought in so much talent to this team. You want to fire? You said you didn't want to fire him 10 seconds ago. Now you do?
I mean, I would fire everyone. I don't care. I would fire everybody. I couldn't care less. They haven't won in 50-something years. What's the difference?
What do you mean?
Do you see them? Let me ask you something. Do you see this team in AFC East when they have all these AFC teams have great quarterbacks? Do you see even the Jets even competing next year?
I do.
They're going to make the playoffs next year.
I do. If they get a quarter, and that leads us into the other question: Who do you want to be the quarterback next year of this team? Who are you looking at outside the market? Who are you looking at?
I told you 6-7 weeks ago I would go after Aaron Rodgers.
What if he retires? Well, I mean, there's no guarantee.
Well, get him out of retirement. Get Tom Brady. Get someone there. Who cares who you have to get?
You're coming up with how about we get Joe Montana? You're coming up with like unrealistic expectations.
Why not go to Tom Brady and say, look, don't you want to be Belichick? What do you got? He's got something in the tank for a year or two. Tom Brady would be great with this team. Come on. Aaron Rodgers wouldn't be great with this team. I mean, they're going to get Derek Carr. Derek Carr's a step up, but is he that great? I mean, he's not going to be that great. They're going to boo him too.
What they have. He's better than what they have.
Jimmy Garoppolo gets hurt. The Lamar Jackson is always hurt. You're not going to win with a running quarterback. He's won one playoff game with the Ravens.
Who's this Jimmy Garoppolo you speak of? I never heard of him.
Jimmy Garoppolo from 49ers.
Oh, yeah. Jimmy Garoppolo. That rings
whatever he is. Hey, listen, whoever they get, it's going to suck anyway. So what's the difference, you know?
You know
what other questions you want to ask me?
Have no. Is there any players on this team that you like? That you've seen from this past year that you've liked?
I like the cornerback. Gardner's good. He plays the whole season. The guy Garrett Wilson played well, but a lot of guys. The line was decimated. I mean, the line is terrible. They got to shore up the offensive line, and I think the defense is overrated. As much as you think Saleh developed as a defense, when they had to stop anyone, they couldn't stop crap. They lost the game 50. The guy threw a 50-yard pass, 4th down and 1, and then the Jacksonville went down 95 yards against them. So if they're a great defense, they're not a great defense. They're a great defense. You know what they are? They were maybe statistically, but I think they were a good defense, not a great defense.
Yeah. No, I agree with that. I think there's
So I'm wondering then. Yeah, obviously the team has some holes in free agency and in the draft. What are the specific positions that you would like to address?
Well, they got to get the line. Even they draft a lineman, offensive lineman. They need to help. Hopefully, those 2 guys come back from last year that were hurt. They draft another one, and then they need linebackers. The linebackers are terrible. I would get rid of what's his name, Mosley. Get rid of him. I had enough of him. I don't care what he has left. Just get rid of him. I know he's all pro. He's not just enough of him. I get rid of him, and I get rid of Quincy. What's his name? Quincy Jones. Quincy, whatever his name is. Whatever his name is, I get rid of him too.
I never really heard about Quincy Jones.
I like
that a big guy?
Hey, listen, the defensive line is good. The linebackers are a little weak, and the secondary is good. Maybe you have to get another safety.
Yeah. I mean, look. Do you think
get rid of the punter too? The punter is garbage. Yeah. Get rid of the punter and keep the field goal kicker. He's good. The punter should be cut. He should have been cut when he made the tackle on the Ram guy a couple of years ago and they lost
Yeah,
the
we
first
talked
round.
about that. We talked
I would
about
have
that
cut him
plenty
right
of times.
after that, you know. So,
So do you think
why didn't
that?
you keep doing the? You think he's a good punter? He's terrible.
No, he's terrible. I've been talking about this for weeks now. But do you think that they should pay Quinnen Williams this offseason to a big extension? Do you think he deserves it to this point?
Well, he's played very well, but if he wants a lot of money, then he'll go. We don't need to all the money. It's all with the cap. It's all about figuring out what he wants. I mean, if you got to pay him, I guess what do they do? Franchise him, whatever they got to do. I don't know.
No, he said he's going to sit. He said he wants a contract by April. If not, he might sit out. So I think they're going to have to pay him.
Then you know what? If he wants to sit out, trade him and get a couple draft choices. That's what you do.
Oh
that's
my
how
God,
you make your moves.
And
you know what you do? Like the Parcells used to do. You go into training camp and people goofing off. You cut somebody right away. That's a big play, and then they wake up the players.
You just said the Jets should cut Quinnen Williams?
I say cut him. I said if he wants a big money, they'll trade him and get a couple draft choices.
Are you kidding me? This guy Quinnen Williams is a.
Let me ask you something.
Why wouldn't you pay him though? He's deserved it.
What have they won with him?
That's a terrible point.
Everything is terrible. Everybody is on. The whole team is replaceable as far as I'm concerned.
Sauce Gardner's replaceable. He's the best cornerback in the league.
They're all replaceable except probably the quarterback, the guy that just drafted, and the running back is good, and the Garrett Wilson. Everyone else is tradable on that team.
All right, Matthew, what do you think?
Yeah, I think Quinnen Williams, I think it was indicative. He was out for 1 or 2 games, and the defense really struggled. They couldn't get to the quarterback at all when he was out. And they were able to generate consistent pressure when he was on the field. So yeah, I think he's a big reason why they're top 5. I think they should lock him up. But
also that's another reason that defensive coordinator is a moron. Here he is, he played a third-string quarterback in Miami and didn't blitz once. A moron. That's moronic. I would fire.
They gave up 9 points to them though. How bad of a game did he have?
Listen, they didn't score a touchdown in 3 games.
That's not the defensive coordinator.
If you can't score a touchdown in 3 games in the NFL, the whole staff should be fired. That's how I feel. You score one. One touchdown in 3 games.
They had Zach Wilson.
I went to high school. The guy didn't even have a playbook, and we scored 1 touchdown every.
Wait. Let me just get this straight. 3 games they didn't score a touchdown. They had Zach Wilson. They had Mike White with no ribs. The guy had 6 fractured ribs, and he was still hurt. And they also Joe Flacco, old Joe Flacco, who should retire. So look, I get you could blame the coaches, but I wouldn't pull it a full blame on them. They had no quarterback.
And what about yesterday? All they did was Garrett Wilson. Where were the other guys? Where was your guy Davis? He's a guy. I would cut him too. That guy Corey Davis.
No, that's a good point because you save money.
He disappeared. I don't know where he was. I mean, I like the other guy I like is the tight end, Conklin. I think he's.
How about Jeremy Rucker? Do you like him?
Yeah, the kid from Lindenhurst.
Yes.
Yeah, he's a local kid. I like him. Ohio State. He's a good kid. Yeah, I mean, I don't think the tight ends are not bad. They just got to get the offensive line straightened out, and they got to get a quarterback. And I don't know what they're going to do with Carl Wilson. Whatever his name is, Zach Wilson, Carl Wilson. Whatever.
So what are your thoughts? Wait. So when they drafted him, I remember you were a big fan of him. How disappointed are you in this kid? Do you think it's the Jets' fault, or do you think it's his fault? Do you think he's not talented? What happened with him?
It's the Jets' fault. They have bad coaching. Because look, Geno Smith is the same thing. He was good in college, and now after he left the Jets. Pete Carroll, he's a good coach. He had a career year. Why is that? This kid has talent, but the Jets don't know what they're doing. You have to have a guy that can roll out. You could do his struts. He's not the guy has a good arm. He could run. You saw he was really. Why didn't they do anything to help him out? Hurry up offense, like different plays. I mean, it was just like it really was. I mean, I don't know why LaFleur didn't get fired yet. I don't know what they're waiting for. What's Woody waiting for? What are they waiting for? What's there to discuss? They're the worst offense in the league.
I say keep LaFleur, strip him of play calling duties, and bring in a guy like Frank Reich.
You know what I told what I say? Gil LaFleur is dead. Could probably call better plays. The guy that played for the Canadians, he could probably get better. I'd rather have Gil LaFleur. I'd rather get Weed Eubanks corpse to be better coach than Salah. Come on, these guys are freaking lightweights. And Salah's all big talk and receipts and all that. And what happened? All gas, no, but all these things that he talks. And he doesn't back it up. And I don't think he's I think he tries to be friends. I don't think he disciplines his players. I think the players have no discipline. But
he's a guy that is never going to call out a player in public in a press conference. But behind the scenes, you have no idea what goes on. He could be yelling.
The way that they play, I know that they're not afraid of him, Matthew.
But that's not true at all. As a coach, you have to be a leader, and you can't get under your player's skin, or else the whole team's you're going to lose the locker room. That's how it is in today's game. Look, 30 years ago, it might have been different. Today, it's not like that.
Did you ever see Salah go to the defensive line, go to the offensive line?
I have. Watch the video when he was mic'd up with the Lions. He told Quinnen Williams.
Really? When he got his receipts? Or was that before his receipts or after?
That was during the Bears game when they won.
What happened to his receipts? What receipts is he getting?
Look, that was a poor comment. I don't think that was the right comment, and he admitted that he got that wrong. That was bad.
I told you 2 years ago the guy is a lightweight coach. In this league,
You told me 2 years ago when they hired him. That's unfair.
And I tell you, he's a defensive coordinator. In today's game, you need to hire an offensive mind, not defense. They've done that. Rex Ryan, they've gone through the same thing over and over. You need a guy who's look at the guy in the Giants. He's a good coach. He's an offensive coach.
Yeah, but what about Adam Gase? I don't think Adam Gase was offensive minded.
Adam Gase was him and Salah should be together. They're about the same level.
Are you kidding me?
Adam
Gase doesn't have a job in the NFL. If Robert Saleh got fired, he would be first in line for defensive coordinator jobs.
Gase had 2 years record. I think it's just as good as Saleh.
Gase doesn't even have a high school job right now. His kid plays in high school. He doesn't even work for them.
Well, next year when Salah's out, they could go to my high school, Xavier. One could be the offensive coach, and Saleh could be the defensive coach. They could coach together in high school. Salah's going to be coaching Michigan, like some East Michigan State or something like that.
So wait, we have a question. So you've been a Jets fan for how many years now?
Too long.
Too long? I mean, do you even remember Super Bowl III?
I remember a little bit as a kid. I remember Joe Namath, but I don't remember the game. But I do remember the Mud Bowl. I remember Gastineau roughing the passer. First of all, Jets are not going to win till Namath dies. I told people
that's
a curse of Bachelor 3. When Namath dies, the next year they will win. Namath's going to probably live to 120. So I'll be dead before Namath dies. So they're not going to win. I tell you, you don't even have to watch the season. If Namath's still alive, they'll do the same thing every year.
Wow, that is a bold take. What a conspiracy we have here.
It's called Curse of Bachelor Tree. Look it up. Namath.
Look it up. Is it on Wikipedia?
He owned the bar. Curse of Bachelor's 3. He owned the bar in 1969.
Wow.
The NFL made him sell the bar because they had some, supposed to be organized crime. He retired. Then he came back, and then they put a curse, and they haven't won since then.
Interesting.
1969 in the spring. So what do you think about that? And how come they haven't had good quarterbacks since Namath? What's the reason for that?
They had Vinny Testaverde, Brett Favre. They had Mark
Sanchez. Brett Favre. That one year he was 8-3 before he hurt his arm. He was a good quarterback, and Testaverde gave him a good year. That's why I would go for Rodgers for 1 year.
I just don't think that's not realistic because the guy doesn't even know if he wants to play anymore.
What about Brady?
Tom Brady's no way. He's living in Florida. I think Las Vegas is an option for him. I think the 49ers, I can see him going to, or even staying with the Buccaneers.
I see him retiring possibly too.
Yeah, I can see that. So I don't see the Jets.
So who are they going to get? Derek Carr? You're so high on Derek Carr?
I'm not so high in him, but I think it's a good, realistic option. Yes, I think that he makes them a playoff team. That's what I think.
They probably wind up with that guy Brissett or the other guy.
Brissett? Oh my God, that would be fantastic.
Right, that's where they're going to wind up the Jets.
They get Jacoby Brissett with Zach Wilson and Mike White. That's horrible. That's a dysfunction. Then you fire the general manager.
That's now you want to fire the guy, huh?
No, if they get Brissett as their quarterback, that's the quarterback room next year. Of course, that's dysfunction. That's horrible.
All right, so I have another question.
The Giants.
Wait, let Matthew go.
I have another question. What do you think of Woody Johnson and the ownership group? Are the Jets in good hands? Because it seems like reactionary ownership.
He's as dumb as Dolan. He's as dumb as Dolan, the Woody Johnson. He's a moron. And his brother Christopher is another one. When he took over, he's a moron too. So two morons. We know that.
I agree. Do you like that he gets involved though with the fans? Do you like that he gets involved on social media, Woody?
I don't care about Woody. He's just a loser. I know. I've seen enough of him to know what he's all about. He's involved with the fans. He doesn't know what he's doing.
No, but you realize if they fire Saleh, it would be Woody's decision. Would you be a fan of that? That would be all Woody. You want him to make football decisions?
I would be okay if he fired everyone.
You just said he was a moron, and now you want to make
he's a moron. But if he fired the whole coaching staff, I'd be okay with it. Who deserves to stay by your definition? Who deserve they all deserve to have their jobs? Offensive coordinator, defensive coordinator, everybody deserves their job.
The offensive coordinator, they can consider firing him. If they keep him, I want them to get a veteran coach to help him out with the game planning. I think that would be the good move. You want consistency. Every 2 years they fire a coach. It's not good for the team. Your team's never going to gel and just develop as a team. If they keep firing the coach every 2 years, a revolving door, that's not going to help them. They'll never become.
That's not true. The Giants covered their coach. All
right, the Giants. I'll say this about the Giants. People look. I know Matthew's a big Giant fan. The Giants had a soft schedule, and they took advantage of it. They have Matthew could tell you the Jets have a better roster than the Giants. Giants actually have a quarterback. They have a good running back that stayed healthy, but they had a soft schedule, and they took advantage of it. And look, they have all the credit in the world that they made the playoffs. They don't have a great roster, but they have great coaching. You're right about that. They got it right with the hire, but let's not sit here and pretend that the Giants are miles better than the Jets, because that's not the case.
They are
Yeah, I
miles
think
away because
the
they
Jets,
have a
the Giants
head
had
coach that
great
knows what
coach.
he's doing. What? They have a head coach that knows what they're doing. That's miles ahead of Salah.
No,
He didn't take any receipts. I mean,
but
you know what? They have accountability. They know what they plan. He has them playing as a team. The Jets are all individual, and they're not really cohesive. I don't think of them as a cohesive unit, the Jets. And
all right,
to me, that's the coach's fault.
so let's move on now to the Yankees. You're a big Yankee fan, right? Been
Yeah.
4 years. As you claim you're a Yankee fan. I don't know if that's true, but so what are your thoughts on the offseason moves? They re-signed Judge, they signed Carlos Rodon, starting pitcher. What are your thoughts on the move so far?
Yeah, they're going to be good. They'll get a playoff participation trophy, and they'll lose again to the Astros. What's the great thing that they did? They kept the same manager. At least they got a couple of guys to oversee Cashman, because maybe they should. Why Cashman got extended, why Boone got extended, I have no idea. They have to. What do you see in their team that you think they're going to beat Houston? I don't see them being as good.
I think they have better pitching, starting pitching. I think they have equal bullpen. Their lineup, not even in the same stratosphere as Houston, in my opinion. I think they get outclassed there. So I think I agree with you. I don't think they could beat Houston as of right now. I think their pitching is the only way they could carry them over Houston, but I don't think that's happening.
And they kept Aaron Hicks. They got Donaldson. What moves are they making? I mean,
yeah, no lineup changes.
Terrible. I mean, I could see them making the playoffs, because honestly, in baseball, how many teams are decent? 8 teams out of there. I don't know. There's terrible teams. I mean, they get into the playoffs just by attrition. I mean, the teams are so bad. I mean, how many teams are good in the American League East? There used to be Tampa, Boston. They're not that good anymore. Maybe Toronto's decent, but there's not that many good teams in baseball, So that helps the Yankees get in there. But, they like to get in there, and they maybe win a couple. Maybe they get 3 or 4 home games, and they call it a day.
So are you a big Cashman guy?
No, I'm not a Cashman thing. He's like Supreme Court. He should not have that job for life. He should have been gone a few years ago. There's no reason why that guy should be there. He, unless Hal likes him for some reason. I don't know. He's got company secrets. I don't know. He should not be there. He should not be there that long. I'm sorry. If George was around, he would have been gone many years ago. And Boone, I don't know why he got an extension. Boone should be gone too. I mean, 4 years he hasn't won a play. He can't win in the playoffs. The guy, and he makes crazy moves in the playoffs too. I don't think he's a good manager.
I want to ask a similar question. Yeah.
What's that?
I want to ask a similar question that we asked earlier. Who are the players that you like on the Yankees? Who are your favorite players?
I like the let's see, who do I like? Tell me who do I like? Well, that kid Bate is good, right? He plays hard. I like those young kids that play pretty well.
Oswaldo.
Judge is great. I mean, he played the whole year. I mean, what do you want from Judge? I mean, but the bottom line is they got a lot of Rizzo plays well if he's not. Sometimes he has injuries. He's a good player. But the other guys, I mean, IKF, he's terrible. Gleyber Torres could be great, but he tries to hit home runs all the time, doesn't hustle all the time. And I like some of the young pitchers are good. I like that kid King is good, right? I like some of the starters are good. I'm not a big Garrett Cole fan.
Why?
I don't think he's worth the money.
Really? I mean, the guy has put up top 5 numbers every year, and he had a great postseason performance this past. What do you want from him?
He still lost to Houston.
He said, but what do you mean he lost to Houston? The offense got 2 runs the whole series.
Yeah, well, what can I tell you? That's Cashman put that team together, right?
It seems like you have an agenda. I don't know if this is true. It seems like you have an agenda with certain coaches like Salah, players like Cole. I don't know what it is with you. You're an very interesting fan.
It's It's like you guys root for the same thing. You watch 162 games a year, and I tell you before the season ends that they're going to lose in the playoffs, and it's the same thing every year. So why waste your time during the season watching games? I got rid of my season tickets with the Yankees. I'm tired of it. I'm not watching that. It's crap. Yeah, I got rid of them after 30-something years. I'm not watching the same thing where they make playoff participation. I don't care about playoff participation trophies.
Wow.
I couldn't care less. They're not. George was win at all costs. Hal is not win at all costs. Hal is for the company line. Hal wants the team to be competitive. Hal does not have the desire to win as George did. I'm sorry. I saw George. He did some crazy things and stuff, but George wanted to win. And George would have spent some money on a couple more free agents and went over the top and tried to win this year.
You like what the Mets are doing?
What's he care? I mean, the Mets haven't spent for years. They should spend now. It's like he doesn't seem to care. He don't seem to care about the luxury tax. He's trying to win. That's how George. I mean, it may not be successful. Now the Mets, they got old pitchers, so they got to try to win in the next year or two before those guys get really old. Yankees should have got Verlander a couple of years ago, right? Since 2017. Cashman had a chance to get him, and he is whiffed on it. He wound up getting that lefty that couldn't get anyone out.
Jay Happ.
Jay Happ, and he got Sonny Gray, and what's the other guy? Freddie Mont, and his moves at the trade deadline are just stellar. Every year, he made big moves. Freddie Montas. I mean, these are good moves are so great that it puts you over the top.
But who's Freddie Montas? I'm not familiar.
Frankie Montas, Freddie Montas, Frankie Montas. All these trades are terrible. Listen, you can watch the whole thing all year. You know what's going to happen. And let's hope Judge doesn't get hurt this year. Judge played a lot last year, you know.
You're right. Absolutely.
And Stanton too. The guy plays. He has a hangnail. He's out for 3 weeks. You know.
That's funny.
Stanton, and the guy, he's like a big guy and he can't play. He's always hurt like 70, 80 games a year. Unbelievable. The guy runs down the line. He goes to the All-Star game. He don't get hurt, but next day he gets hurt from the All-Star game. Who the hell can get hurt at the All-Star game? I mean, come on.
I think he was hurt during that game when he played. He still played. I don't get
that. Then he shouldn't have played that game if he was.
I agree. That was a dysfunction on all parts. I agree. So wait, one more question before we let you go. New York Rangers. How do you think they're playing? Do you like how they're playing so far? They've gotten it going after a slow start.
Yeah, they're playing all right, but we don't know to the end. Their defense is still weak. You know, it's the same strategy is Shesterkin has to play out of his mind and they win. And then he gets 50, and if he doesn't play that good, they lose. So
I have to say, you should be an announcer. Your pronunciation skills are outmatched.
Well, all I can tell you is that when he's not playing that well, they lose. He's got to be at the top of his game. And I don't think. Do you really think they're going to win the Stanley Cup? I think they're a good team, but I don't see them win the Stanley Cup with this team.
I think they have a shot. I think if they make a big splash at the trade deadline, like a guy like Tarasenko, Patrick Kane, I think they have a chance. But I don't think they're favorites by any means. I don't think they're favorites.
No, I think they're missing guys on the third line, defensive pair like Libor Hajek, Ben Harper. Those guys aren't good. I think they really need a lockdown defenseman and some guys at the second, third line. It seems like maybe that first line, Mika, Kreider, Panarin is good, but the second line's like a big drop off. Like Lafreniere on the second, he's just not good at this point.
Hey, what are your thoughts on Lafreniere? Who do you like on this team? We asked that for.
I mean, those two guys. I mean, Kakko's playing a little better, but they've been big. That guy Lafreniere's been a big bust so far. I don't care what you say.
I agree.
He's been terrible. I mean, he really hasn't done much at all. I mean, actually, one of the pleasant guys this year was Jimmy Vesey's been good.
Yeah. I agree. I like how he's playing.
I mean, a lot of guys, he's played very well, but I mean, Kreider sometimes plays good, and some games he disappears. Mika, Panarin too, he plays well, but Panarin, if they play big physical teams, he kind of disappears. Panarin, Panarin doesn't like physical thing.
I don't know about that. I think that the teams that are very good defensively, they do all that they can to shut him down, and they do it pretty effectively in the playoffs. You see, I think he was hurt during the playoffs last year. That's another story. Hopefully, he steps it up this year because if he doesn't, you consider trading a guy like that because his cap hit is high. I think he can hurt them he can handcuff them financially.
Yeah, maybe they could put Sammy Blais on the first line. Maybe he could score a goal. No?
I mean, is that your favorite player on the Rangers?
No, I mean, I hope he scores a goal before the end of the year.
Well, what do you think? If you were a betting man, would you guess that he scores a goal before the end of the year?
Probably, maybe one, maybe two, maybe.
He gets one tip in.
And I also don't like Gallant because he plays the same people all the time on the power play. If they're not going good one day, put some other people on there. He's very regimented, Same people have to go on all the time. If they're 0 for 5 in a game, why you put them on for the 6th time? They've been shut down 5 times. All right, they have skill, but maybe put some other guys that are doing better, So, and they're a little soft as usual, the team, right? I don't think they're a tough team.
Well, yeah, Gil, great time, great having you on here.
Talk to me after the Jets. Talk to me next year at this time if you still believe in Salah. I'll be with you.
Hey, well, it was a great having you on. We'll talk to you.
Hey, tell everyone our show next Tuesday, Flashback Sports. Gil and Dave, we got ex-Raider Phil Villapiano.
Great guest.
Chapters rap, YouTube and Facebook. Ex-Raider Phil Villapiano. He was a real old-time Raider with a lot of great stories. So if you guys any of your older listeners that want to see that, people who are boomers, I think they would like Phil Villapiano. But thanks for having me on my show, and I hope that I gave you some funny insight and some good insight.
Yeah, absolutely. You had some interesting insight.
Thank you for joining.
Thank you for joining us. Thank you. Have a good one. Great episode.
Good night.